How do you build a software product that people want to buy? Hey, I'm Justin Jackson, and right now I'm updating my book, Marketing for Developers. You can find it at devmarketing.xyz. I just bought a new product, and I wanted to tell you folks the story because I think it's instructive in terms of why people buy products at all. If you're a software developer, a programmer, any kind of person building a software product or a SaaS or a web application, you need to figure out what causes people to search for a new product and then eventually buy it and start using it. So here is the setup. I have a personal website, a personal blog at justinjackson.ca, and I've built my own WordPress theme for that website. It's called Brutal. It's based on kind of this brutalism design aesthetic that I really like. And previously, whenever I would make updates to the theme, I would do one of two things. First thing is I would just go into my theme directory and I would actually edit the theme live on the site. Obviously, you wouldn't do this with a client's website, but because it's my own site, this is kind of where I hack. Sometimes I'll notice something I don't like, I'll go right in here and I'll make the update. The problem with this, of course, is if you make a mistake, you can't easily roll it back. So I'm like, okay, I should set this up on GitHub, created a repository for it, and my process would look something like this. I would, make my changes, save them, commit the changes, sync. So that updated my GitHub repository, but it didn't update my theme in WordPress. So then I'd have to go find the file that I just updated and then manually FTP it up. And having to duplicate all that work led to some frustration. I felt like there's got to be a better way to do this than making the changes, pushing them up to GitHub, and then manually FTPing my files up to my WordPress site. And so the first thing I did was I added a card in Trello saying, okay, I need to figure out a GitHub workflow for WordPress themes. So there's got to be a plugin that exists for this. I kind of sat on it for a little while, and then I had to go back one day and do some more changes and then push the changes up to GitHub, manually FTP the files to my WordPress server. And I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm going to figure this out now. So at 4:30 p.m. on that day, I searched for deploy WordPress theme changes with Git. And I started looking through the results here. First one is, people explaining Git work. So I'm reading this blog post. The problem is that these folks have a local WordPress server set up, and I don't work that way. I have a staging server set up for this, and to tell you the truth, most of the times I just, like I said, deploy my changes live. So I was like, this isn't for me. So I went back. And the next one, here's an article on Medium. Look through this. So it looked interesting. This was a product called Buddy. And to tell you the truth, the reason this didn't appeal to me is I don't use the command line. When I'm using Git, I'm using the GitHub app, which I know is like sacrilege to some of you, but that's the way I work. And so I'm reading this blog post and I'm like, this isn't for me. This is all like Git command line stuff. And so I went back and I kept looking for things until I landed on wppusher.com. And there's a few things that appealed to me about this right away. One is they had a screenshot of WordPress, and this screenshot made sense. It was like, okay, GitHub is here. You can choose your repository. You can choose what branch you want it to do. And then there was this push to deploy option. So this screenshot showed me that I think this product is what I'm looking for. I think this product is what's going to give me the progress that I want. And I think I scrolled down to, some of this, but there's actually not much on this landing page. It was really just this screenshot that was enough for me to say, I think this option is for me. So I downloaded it. added it to my WordPress install, and the setup was super easy. I just had to get a GitHub token, save it, and then install my theme. And I could pick it directly from GitHub. My theme was already on GitHub. And so now my development process is, I'll make a change, I'll sync it up with GitHub, and then WP Pusher pulls in the changes from GitHub and updates my theme. So I only have to update in one place. I don't have to FTP. Now it's interesting. What did I do as soon as I'd figured this out? I went onto Twitter and I told people about it. I was so excited to have figured this out. I wanted to share the news with other people. I think this whole process that I just described is exactly what you need to do as a software developer if you want to create a successful product. Remember, when I was evaluating all of my choices, the first 3 or 4 things I looked at, I was like, those don't fit my situation. Remember, you're always addressing a customer in a given context. And my context is, I'm not really a programmer. I don't use Terminal all the time. I'm just somebody who wants to make changes to my WordPress theme. I want to be able to update the repository on GitHub, but at the same time have my theme on my WordPress server updated as well, without having to manually push it to GitHub and then manually FTP it up. And so I was looking for a solution that fit my personal context. And like I said, this landing page for WP Pusher could probably be improved, but just this part above the fold is what sold me. Deploy your plugins and themes directly from GitHub and never again copy files over FTP. I felt like those words were speaking to me directly, and that's what caused me to click that download button and try it out. So that's my story. I hope that was helpful for you, just hearing the process I went through. Really, anybody who buys or uses software goes through a similar process. They have that moment where they first notice that they, want something to change. Then one day they're like, okay, I'm going to go out and look for a solution. Then they end up acting. They find something they think is going to fit. Then they start using it, and they're either satisfied or not satisfied. And you need to successfully take people through all of those stages if you are going to have a profitable software product. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, subscribe, and you might also like this book I'm updating right now, Marketing for Developers. You can find it at devmarketing.xyz.